Hello everybody, welcome to Talk About Houses. I'm Todd.
I'm Oana.
So today we're going to talk about master plan communities.
Yes.
And the biggest benefits that you get for having a master plan community.
Yes.
Right in our area where we live is one called Summerlin. It's a massive 35 square mile. That's pretty big. But there's a bunch of them in Las Vegas. There's Green Valley, there's Green Valley Ranch, Providence.
There's Sky Canyon, Mountain's Edge,
Tule Springs, Southern Highlands,
Inspirada,
and these are master plan. The Summerlin one, we're going to kind of use an example because it's in our side of town, and it's the most, really the first big one in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Okay, so the first advantage of master plan community is that they have been organized and designed to maximize the overall value and usability for all the people.
Right. So a master plan community is, think of it this way, the best that SimCity has to offer, right? So what I mean by that is this is all well thought out. They decide, well, these homes go here, and this is where we're going to have schools, this is where we're going to have parks, trails, shopping, and this particular kind of shopping. And then, as you go farther out, away from the residential, maybe you have bigger stores and that sort of thing. So the whole master planned area is designed with the residents' usability in mind. They're really very well thought out, and what they do for the residents is provide a very pleasant living experience. So they make it walkable, they make it feel very safe, they make it feel in a way that it attracts people to live in that area.
And the only way you can really do that is to plan the whole thing out, because I've been in Vegas for 46-ish years now, and a couple years before I was born, actually. And so back then, they would just have a road, and then someone would say, I'll sell this land, and I'll put a 7-Eleven there. And then right behind the land, some builder would say, I want to build some houses back here, and he would build some houses. And then someone would say, we should put a bank right here, and they put a bank. And then someone would say, what this neighborhood needs is a grocery store. Put it over there. So when you're driving around, probably within a couple miles of the strip, east and west, you kind of notice that it's not, like you'll literally there are roads, like Desert Inn is a good example. It looks like a highway, you're screaming, and there's houses on it that face it. And then you'll have a bunch of houses, and then you'll have like a business or a school, and then you'll have another business, and then you'll have an industrial area, and you're like, what the hell? Like, that's not a very good use of the land. And so the idea behind a master plan community is to highest and best use of the land, because that's where the value is really created. And of course, the Summerlin specifically was Howard Hughes' land, and when he passed away, the Howard Hughes Corporation was established so that the land could actually be used to the highest and best.
So it's really interesting because Summerlin is, like Todd said, it's 35 square miles. But you always know when you're in Summerlin, because Summerlin, for example, has different street lights than anywhere else in the valley, because Summerlin is very strict about everything. They are the ultimate OCD resident, right? So everything is just so. They have a color scheme, they have landscaping schemes, they have, like I said, all the way down to street lights, and everything looks nice. So this kind of goes to the next point of a master plan community,
which is conformity.
Yes.
And it's funny because I laugh about the street light that Oana mentions, because they have these, what most street lights look like is there's this pole with a thing on it with a light, and there's this round bulb, right? And they don't work that way in Summerlin. They're a square box, and it's a dark material, but then the light is actually recessed. So when you're driving down the street, you're not being blinded by these lights. You can't actually see the light until you get really close, and then you can see the light coming out of the boxes. And then in areas around Summerlin, if you're driving down the road where Summerlin's on one side, and then the other side of the road is not Summerlin, you can notice the difference between the quality of the lights and then how hard it is to have the light. Like if you live in the neighborhood right behind there, the light's shining in your window because it's just a bulb, so it's going out in all directions. But Summerlin, it's designed just to shine down and not really, make it hard to shine in windows and things like that. It's like that with everything. All the Burger Kings in Summerlin look completely different than the Burger Kings in the rest of town because they have, much stricter rules on how they'll look. You can't just have the massive sign sticking way up above the trees. Usually you just have some marking on the building that says Burger King. But conformity, that is another thing that adds value. Absolutely.
And the conformity is throughout the community. So it's anything from the landscaping to the design of the homes, the height of the homes, the height of the fences, the colors, the types of plants that are allowed on the commercial buildings, the kind of signage that is allowed, the types of businesses that are allowed. Everything that you can think of is within the master plan's capacity to regulate. And so that may turn some people off as far as wanting to be the rulers of their land and of their castle, and I completely appreciate and understand that. On the other hand, conformity is something that maintains property values, and that speaks to our next point.
Amenities.
Yes.
So if you live in a master plan community, you probably pay a fee to the master plan, and then you potentially pay another HOA fee to your local, like if you have a little gated neighborhood or something. But that fee that you pay goes to pay for great amenities sometimes.
Yes.
Parks, trails, facilities that you can use, like tennis courts, basketball courts. You can rent out space if you want to have a business event or just a party. And a lot of people don't realize that, there are some pretty nice things in master plan communities, amenities that are really attractive to residents.
Right. So, of course, all these parks and trails and all that sort of thing, they cost money to maintain, and of course your dues go to pay for that. It is part of your benefit of living in the master plan community. It's part of your responsibility as far as paying the dues.
Yeah, like there's this one trail we like to walk at night. It's a little over 2 miles, and it's beautiful. It's in a canyon between a bunch of subdivisions, but and it's in Summerlin, but all the subdivisions have a little gate that they can walk down, and you see people riding bikes or out there with their dogs, and you wouldn't even realize you're in the middle of the city because it's a canyon. It's called Cottonwood Canyon, and it's nice, but it's an amenity. What you pay to live in Summerlin pays for that canyon to be. They have a big park in there, and they have a gazebo and picnic tables. And you can't see it from the streets until you really get close and go, oh, there's an area here we can hang out.
So I like it a lot over there. There are a lot of bunnies, so I like watching the bunnies when we go for a walk.
Bunnies and lizards, and
yes.
We haven't seen any desert tortoises yet.
No.
But the amenities do make a master plan community. And a lot of the amenities, like parks and things like that, anybody, you just can't stop. People can just pull in the parking lot and go use the park. But a lot of them you have to have. There are tennis courts that if you just go and try to play, someone will say, well, we have reserved 3 to 4. That's our time. You have to leave, right? And they will enforce certain things like that.
Yes.
Okay. The next point is cleanliness.
Yes. So this is really big. We all like to live in a clean area. We don't like trash blowing around and that sort of thing. So cleanliness is a big deal. And this kind of goes along with the whole maintenance of the community too. Again, like I said, that they will have landscapers go through and take care of all the parks and all the common areas. They're very good about making sure that the homeowners take responsibility for their yards, for their trash, and all that sort of thing. And the community just looks well cared for.
Yeah, if you go to areas where there's no homeowners association or there's no master entity maintaining a cleanliness standard, you'll find landscaping in areas that is not very good. It's maybe dead or whatever. And then you'll find graffiti. Someone will spray paint something on a wall on a street, and then nobody will go fix it. A lot of those times it's the city's responsibility, but then it has to be reported to the city, and the city's supposed to send somebody out, and a lot of times they just make it worse. They just paint white paint over it. Now you have this blotch of white paint on a brick wall, right? But in a master plan community, they actually, they will make sure that it's clean, and they'll maintain the landscaping, and it's really nice.
Right. So the common walls will be maintained. They'll be painted and repaired on a regular schedule. They'll also make sure that everybody, again, goes back to that conformity issue. Everybody complies with the rules and maintains their property up to everybody's standards, so that this protects everyone's property values.
Yeah, which is the last point. One of the big advantages of master plan community is not only stable property values, but improved property values.
Right. Particularly, I think a lot of us, as we're, I know that when my children were growing up, I was very interested in living in a master plan community, because I wanted a community where there would be lots of kids with parks and all that sort of thing, and I wanted something that would make me feel safe and would go along that route, as far as my kids being able to walk to school and all that sort of thing. So a master plan community gives you that a lot of times, because they'll plan the school so that they'll have the elementary school here and the middle school here and the high school there. So all of these things will be accessible for everybody in the neighborhood. And at least here in Clark County, that they try very hard to have neighborhood schools.
The last time the market collapsed here, it was pretty bad. The two of the areas that did much better one was Summerlin. Summerlin it wasn't as bad here when things got really bad. Property values declined, but it was not like some other places, especially parts of the Northwest and South. They got hit really hard. And then some of the parts of areas of Green Valley and Henderson did okay, like Anthem. The property values went down, but Anthem's a nice area, and even the country club and the nice areas, they declined, but they didn't go decline by more than half, which a lot of the city just had.
Right.
I mean, houses that were, there was, matter of fact, there was a house that I lived in as a kid, and it sold for $285 at the top of the market. Wow. $285,000. It's a 4-bedroom, 1,600 square foot house. When the market crashed, it turned into a bank-owned home, and it got sold for $89,000. And so think about it, that's literally a third.
Yeah.
It's a third. It crashed to a third. And but that didn't happen. There was nowhere in Summerlin that happened, because there was, when there were a lot of homes on the market, people still said, I would rather live in Summerlin. And so as homes came on the market, people went there first and actually the inventory disappeared in Summerlin before it disappeared anywhere else. Right.
So master plan communities continue to be desirable for a lot of the reasons that we've discussed.
Master plan communities are very popular in Nevada, in Arizona, in California, in Texas. Now they're big. You're seeing them in Florida and in Georgia and in Idaho. Idaho's super nice. We'll do another video, but they led the nation in home price appreciation for the state. They were number one. So, but master plan communities are kind of a big thing. Builders love them because they get a bunch of land, and then it makes it easier for them to go build and buy. It's not as speculative if they just go grab some land somewhere and try to build a subdivision. Builders like it when they go into a master plan area to build.
Right. It gives them more control, and it also generally means more profit, because it's going to be at a higher price point.
Yep. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the video, and leave us a comment. We love your comments.
And give us a big thumbs up.
Big thumbs up. That's all for today, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.